good, YouTube? We back with another video today. Y'all like that? Yeah, y'all see I'm getting better. But today's video, we're gonna try a little bit of something different. We're gonna do top 5 dislikes, top 5 things I hate about my G37. So without further ado, let's go ahead. We're gonna get into the number 1 dislike about this car. It's the gas mileage. This gas mileage of this car is horrible. When I first got this car, I came from a Nissan Altima, which it wasn't bad until you start modding it. When you start modding these cars, that's when it actually get bad. I can actually show you what I get right now. It says 16.6 miles per gallon. That is horrible. I don't think y'all understand how bad that is. 16 miles per gallon is very horrible for a NA 6-speed, in my opinion. One thing I will say though, before I started modding this car, I really don't think the gas mileage was that bad until I actually started doing mod stuff too. I think when I first got it and I was learning how to drive manual, I was getting around, I want to say, I think I was getting around actually like 18 to 20 in the city when I was just learning how to drive manual. Obviously I wasn't driving crazy enough because I was just learning, but in my opinion that's still pretty good for a V6. Is all right, buddy. I'm actually gonna go ahead and reset this at the end of the video. We're gonna see what it ends up at. But second thing I'm gonna say, this is specifically if you have a 6-speed manual G or even a Z at this point, because if I know correctly, the HRs have the same trans as the G37s and the 370Z, so don't take that for granted. But if I'm not mistaken, they do have the same trans. But the second thing is the slave cylinder. The slave cylinder, these things are known to go out. They're horrible. They go out all the time, and there's no warning about it or nothing. You just put your foot on the clutch one day and it ain't coming back up. You just could be on a road trip, be doing anything. You're just gonna be stranded. That's just how they are. But yeah, that's the second thing. Slave cylinder. Actually, on that note, I'm gonna add this. This transmission is so noisy. When I first got this car, I ended up thinking that something was broken on my car just because of how loud this transmission is. It literally sounds like a Hellcat supercharger, and I'm not even trying to joke, I'm not even trying to be funny or nothing. It literally sounds like your car is supercharged without the power. Transmission on these cars is loud. I'm gonna try to get a clip for y'all and throw it in here right here after this light. Everything on my list, I know this happens with the HRs, the G37, 370Zs, anything that has the VQ37 in there. We'll go ahead and name it off. That's the freaking gallery gasket. The gallery gaskets and these motors are paper thin. They did supposedly fix them at the around, I want to say 2012. I think that's what he said. The 2013s. I don't know. Either way it goes, it's very good if you have the money, you have the time to go ahead and redo your slave cylinder. I mean, that's your gallery gasket. Go ahead and get the, I don't know specifically what brand it is, but I'll throw it up right here. It's actually, the gallery gasket is way more thicker. It's better. Because the one that's in there now is paper thin, and over time it'll like break off and you just lose oil pressure. Then eventually, obviously, if you have no oil pressure, then your engine will just blow. But that's going to be the third thing. Also, there is a delete kit for the slave cylinder, so I'll put the link to that in the bio. So link for the slave cylinder and the gallery gaskets, the replaceable ones, and the CSC delete. It moves your slave cylinder from the inside of the transmission to the outside. That way, if it does fail, instead of you having to drop transmission every time, you can literally just go up under there and you can do it that way. And it's a lot more, it's inexpensive, especially if you're actually racing or whatnot, doing stuff like that. To be honest with y'all, this list was very hard to come up with. Unless if I still had the old G, then I would be able to name a list name. But this one right here, this is like actually what I wanted in a vehicle. So it's not really much I can say. I got 2 more. Yeah, what is that, 3? So I can throw out 2 more. Number 1, well, this would be number 4 is the aluminum.
not just pull your old car?
You can see right there, I'm trying to throw in a picture or a clip right here, but the aluminum cracks. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of aluminum. I think the wood facing trim would have looked a whole lot better in here than the aluminum would have. All right, number 5. This is probably the dumbest thing Infiniti possibly could have did, because it makes it look like they have did the interior. Y'all see the rest of the interior is black. Please tell me why this is beige up here. Look at this. Why is this not black? I don't understand why they did that. I don't know if they're trying to cheap out. Maybe there's a logical reason. But why in the world is this not black? It literally makes no sense. If that made it black, it would feel a lot more put together than it does. Obviously, it still looks good. The interior on here, I think it's pretty timeless. But the beige in here is horrible. I think it's probably the dumbest thing they did on this car. Besides, obviously, gallery gasket. That's probably the #1 dumb thing. And the slave cylinder. There's plenty of dumb things that they did, but that's probably the #1 cosmetic thing. I'll say that was very stupid. And just a little bonus one. I'm gonna throw this one in there. Bonus number 6, the trunk area. No matter what you do, how many times you can wash this car, as soon as you get done washing this car, that trunk area from the trunk and the back bumper, it gets dirty no matter what. You can literally, I can wash my car and have it sitting there and dust will just fly up on the trunk area. I don't even have to drive it. It'll just get super dusty and it'll look like you didn't clean it from the back. You constantly have to wipe that trunk off after you wash the car. It does not matter. I don't understand what it is. It's not like I have thick tires or anything on the back. So I'm always confused on how the trunk area gets super dirty. This is my second G, and I don't know that. I don't know why it always gets super dirty. And I guess there is another one that I could name off, but I guess this is more so how you took care of the car. This is the second G I said, as I said plenty of times in the video. On top of the mirror caps, it's always faded. The sun has faded the paint on the mirror caps. But in my opinion, if the mirror caps are faded, why say the roof not as faded as the mirror caps are? So I think that's a little bit, they might cheaped out on the paint with that, the clear coat. I don't know what they did. Maybe it just needs to be buffed or whatnot. But I think that is something that could have been easily avoided as well. Especially this being a 2013 and the other one was a 2012. So I think it's just lack of productivity or quality in what they did. This one next up for the channel, y'all. It look a little bit more darker on camera, but this thing is clean. Next up on my list right here. Got a nice, what is this, another C7? Yeah, it's next up right here, y'all. Is it a stick shift? It's manual? Oh no, it's automatic.
Like this?